I just thought I'd do another video for you all. I know we're not a baking channel, and I'm not doing a baking video. Don't get too excited. I have a busy morning, so I need to make 2 sandwich loaves, one for my son and grandkids, and one for my sister and nephew. So I thought I'd chat with you while I do it. So yeah, right now I'm just. This is sourdough. I mentioned I do that, so that's what I'm doing. So it's a beautiful Tuesday. Again, a beautiful sunny day. It's supposed to be a pretty warm day, which is really, it's a blessing when you live in the Northwest because sunny, warm days are few and far between. And I'm thankful for them. So, yeah, you love my canisters. Aren't they fancy? I do this because I have tons of flour. And so I save these from Costco, obviously, wash them really good, and then I use them for my flour. And they go on top of my fridge because I use flour and stuff daily. So it's not fancy, but it is what it is. So anyway, we talked yesterday, or I did anyway, introduced the channel and spoke about what the channel's about. Over 60 or close to that, and navigating the changes, personal changes and life changes, and just, what's your purpose now? You had a purpose when you're growing up, you're a kid. It's all fun. Then, if you get married, that's your family and your household and raising children. Those are kind of no-brainers. They're just kind of a natural purpose that drives you. And so, many of us have been through empty nest syndrome. That comes next, and that's one that's kind of get you in the heart, and you're like, wow, what do I do now? What do I do now? So there's one that gets you, and you have to learn to grow into that change, kind of become a little more maybe independent and free, and go out and do some things that maybe you think you might want to do and you didn't do when you had kids at home. So there's that. So then you start to get a new purpose there too. You have to kind of say, okay, what is it now? What's my drive? And then it's more about you and not somebody else. And then, I went through that, and that was hard. I wasn't, you're kind of not prepared for these things. And nowadays, it's nice to have social media and the internet to, have other people to share their experiences with. And that's kind of what it's about now, so that you can gain some insight. People have done it, been through it, maybe what helped them. I don't really remember what helped me. I ended up running off to Florida to stay with friends and work in the travel industry, which that was a change, and it was awesome. It was fun and great. Wasn't too happy about the way I was living my life then, but anyway, it was good. It was a good experience. Newfound freedom. So that's fun. But I'd have to say the hardest part of growing up and aging was in my mid-50s, where my parents became ill. That whole thing has been the hardest of anything in my life. Anything at all. And I know that most of you, or many, if not most, can relate to that, have experienced that to one degree or another. For me, I was in my 50s. Of course, I had moved back up to the Northwest with my parents, and they were still in their 60s and doing good, and it was great, and all of that. And then things changed. they started to get illnesses, more than ailments, illnesses. And then they started to, my mom was an avid baker and cook, and she was funny and used to love to bake and cook, and it started to be where she couldn't do that anymore. My dad was an avid gardener and outside and outdoorsy and strong, and he really couldn't do that anymore, and he kind of was really the one that, it was hard because he mentally went down with vascular dementia, and she physically went down, and then they both just more and more physically, you know. So in my 50s, which are a blur now because I quit working and started to kind of care for them, help them run their household and their little finances, and then it became their whole health care and appointments and procedures and medications and all of that. And so, yeah, and then that was all in my 50s, and I really resisted this. Now, I feel like, I feel guilty about that part of it, because at first I really resisted. I was irritated, it was like, what's going on? I didn't understand, and it was irritating to me. So, excuse me. So what happened was, now this is just going to rest. I just mixed, if you wanted to know, my starter, flour, and water, and I mixed it all up. It'll rest, and then I'll come back in an hour. It's called fermento leasing, by the way. I'll come back in an hour and then add the butter, salt, and either honey or maple syrup, whichever I decide. So I'm not worried about that, but I'm going to put that aside. So anyway, yeah. So I resented it in a way. I was like, why am I having to do this? Take care of my parents. And in reality, what it was it was kind of maybe, I think, subconsciously going, no. Not understanding, how is it that my parents took care of me all their life, raised me, loved me. They're always there. Your parents are always there. They're there when you're young. They're there when you're old. It's like a given. You feel like they're just always going to be there. And the reality starts to set in when they get ill, especially to the point where you're having to take care of them. It just switches everything, and I don't know if my mind or my heart could handle it. I just kind of, I don't know. And then that was in my 50s, my mid to late 50s. That whole time is kind of a blur. I wasn't really living my life per se. I was just kind of learning to take care of them and learning everything about both of their health issues and how to kind of live their life or take care of their life for them. And so that's what happened in my 50s. And then, like I said, in 2019, they both passed away within 4 months of each other. And that was a big whoa, whoa. I mean, there's a lot to be said about that. I think it'll take a whole video to go through that. So talk about changing and growing and what's your purpose. So that became my purpose, was caring for them physically, financially, just logistically, housework, bathing, all these things. So that was my purpose, and that was an intense purpose. More intense than raising babies and children, in my opinion, in my experience. It was a humbling, stressful, sad, yet blessed experience. So we may have to do a whole video or some kind of conversation around that, because I know many, if not most of you, have gone through that, and it's not an easy thing, but it's a gift. It's a gift to be able to care for your family or your parents. It's a blessing. And so anyway, those are some of the things that I found in my little journey from, where I was to where I am now. And just wow, it's just intense. So I think there's going to be a lot of conversations around those things that, we can all share. I think it's helpful to do that because those feelings and those experiences are still, they're still there. They're always there, you know. And we got to figure out how to use them now. I often ask the Lord, please, Lord, use my time, my talents, my stuff, my personality, what I've done, what I've failed to do, every experience for your purpose and your glory now, because that's the main thing. That's what it's all about. So I look forward to seeing your comments about how what you've been through, you know, similar situations, empty nesting, caring for loved ones that are ill or infirmed, you know, losing someone you love, your parents. I know what I felt. I felt orphaned, literally like an orphan. I kind of still feel that way. So I think we'll continue this on next video or two. But if you have any comments or questions or experiences, please leave them in the comments, because as part of this community, that's what we're about, encouraging one another and helping one another. So I look forward to it. Anyway, I got to get back to whatever my busy little morning is going to look like here. So ciao for now. See you soon.